Hey, you
Okay.
guys.
Hi.
How have you been?
Well, I've been great, and I am so excited to just be back with my friend, Coach Jay, reunited, and it feels so
Feels
good
so good.
because we understood the
Yeah,
assignment, right?
yes, yes. Welcome back, you
Yes.
guys. Welcome back, you guys.
Yes, it has been a crazy couple of weeks, we had took some time to spend with our special guest the last few episodes and talk about love as a service. We're going to definitely be talking more about that in upcoming episodes because there was so much to unpack
And
that we
love
didn't even
is
get
a
a chance to
service.
explore. But yeah, it is a service. We can agree on that point, if nothing else. And it's been a while since we had a little direct deposit.
Period.
So I'm going to go ahead and light that candle for us all.
It's direct deposit time.
That's right. And Coach Day, Coach Day, can you tell us a little bit about our topic today that we decide we're going to talk about?
Today, we're going to talk about forgiveness and self compassion.
Yes, forgiveness and self compassion. The reason why we decide to pick this as a topic is because we've noticed over the past few weeks that a lot of our clients have been coming to us talking about the fact that to move on, they've had to forgive themselves, right? So this is not
Hmm.
about forgiving other people who've done you wrong in your life. This is about forgiving yourself. When you find that you have left a toxic situation behind, you may start to get angry. You may start to become resentful because you recognize that you allowed some things to take place for far too long,
No.
right? And so there's the what is the saying? Sometimes you feel like you're kicking yourself in the butt for not doing something sooner.
Hmm.
We're
Hmm.
talking about those feelings right there.
And that alone can be very hard to overcome. It's just that process of forgiving ourselves. First, we have to go through the process of understanding, like, what happened? Like,
Hmm.
why did we stay there so long? Was it because I really genuinely love this person? Was there a fear of leaving? Whether it was the fear of, figuring things out on your own or just figuring things out, between you and that partner.
Hmm.
So there's a lot to unpack when we're talking about self forgiveness.
Also, a lot of times you feel like you have to find yourself again, right? And so during that time of self exploration, it's important to practice self compassion,
Hmm.
right? Let
Give
yourself
yourself
know that
grace.
growth is not pretty, and healing is not linear. Healing is dirty, it's painful at times. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, you're going to have days where you just feel like blah, like
Mhm.
nothing. But embrace it all because it's all a part of the process, of forgiving yourself, healing when you have left a situation that was toxic. And that could also be like a job situation, or it could be just be a friendship that you've had for a long time, or it could be leaving a toxic family member behind,
Mhm.
you know?
It could be a lot of different things, but just always remember, give yourself grace and understanding and take that time out for yourself to be able to process everything that has taken place so that
Hmm.
you'll be able to grow and become a better you and show up better for the future you.
Yeah. Coach Day, so let me ask, what do you think will be one good example of how to practice self-compassion?
Giving yourself grace.
How? How?
I mean, understanding like nobody's perfect in the world.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
because none of us are perfect, we have to understand that we all are able to make a mistake. So just
Mhm.
because that situation did not work out doesn't mean that we're not going to be able to find love again, or we're not going to be able to find another best friend or another friend in general or another job or whatever the case may be. It doesn't mean that. It just simply means that that situation did not work, and because that situation didn't work, I'm going to take the time out that I need to where that I'm able to sit back, reflect, and understand that, okay, this is where I played my part, but I don't want to
Mhm.
show up again in that way with my next person, whether it's in that
Mhm.
relationship or friendship or whomever.
Now,
So
I
it's
love
just
you saying that too because there's a glimpse of hope in there, like, so
yes,
because you said, "When I find
yes.
my next job, when I find the next person in my life,"
It
right? So you're
just
it
because
said,
that
"I'm going
ended,
to have a future." Right.
yes,
Mhm,
just because that ended, it don't mean that it's over. Like we still have a long life to live, and it does not
mhm,
matter how old you are. You know, it doesn't matter if you're 18. It doesn't matter if you're 62. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, life is life, and we still have
mhm,
a long life to live. So don't ever sit back and say, "Well, that's it
mhm.
for me. I'm never gonna find no one else. I'm never gonna love anyone else. I'm never going to let no one in like that again." Because at the end of the day, we don't know what the future may hold for us. So with that process, we can't be sitting back saying, yeah, that's it for me. I'm never gonna love
Right.
nobody else. I'm never gonna have no other best friends, or I'm never gonna go back to a job like that. I'm never. We don't never know what life has in store. That
You're
friend
right,
may come along
100%. Mhm.
and show us, that person may come along and show us that they're the perfect friend for us, and that you can trust them, and that may be your person for the rest of your life. You know, we never really know. That may be your partner for the rest of your life. We never really know. We just have to take a chance and hope for the best. And to be honest, that's really what life is, taking chances.
Amen, amen. I love what you were saying about getting away from this idea that you will never love again, or
Hmm.
you will never find a job as good again, or you'll never
Hmm.
have another chance to to compete again in that competition, or go out for that dream opportunity that you went out for. That
Hmm.
is not true, right? If you think about anyone who has been successful, all of them will tell you about the times that they have failed. And trust me, there were many times, right? The thing that stands out between someone who's successful and someone who's not is the other person who's successful is not willing to give up. And the one who isn't successful just doesn't have the courage to keep going.
I get it. Sometimes people get tired, and it's like sometimes we're human, so we
Hmm.
can get tired, but don't give up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We could take a break. Okay, set a timer. Whether it's a month, whether it's 2 weeks, whether it's 6 months, whatever it is, give yourself that time and say, okay, let me heal, let me reset, let me see what I need to do to
Hmm.
change whatever it is to come back again.
Right.
And be more forceful with it this time, and maybe this time it'll work. You don't know. Try
Hmm.
again.
Hmm. Right.
Keep
Always
trying.
try again. Always,
Yes.
always try again.
Yes.
Right. And so it reminds me of this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Mhm.
Right? It's a real, bestseller, like old school book at this point. There's so many books out now. But there's a portion of the book that talks about like people who are successful, they don't look at something and think, how can I afford that? They look at that and say,
Mhm.
okay, so what am I going to do to get that? It's a different mindset,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So it's like, okay, I tried out this relationship, for example. I gave it my all. It didn't work out. What can I take from that situation and carry into the next one so I can make
Yes.
it better, right? A different mindset to have versus, well, I'll never do that again, like you were saying before.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm. Okay, imagine this, Coach Jay. One of your
Mhm.
very close friends, they call you, they are distraught. They're like,
Mhm.
"Oh my gosh, like, I just lost my job. This is the worst
Mhm.
thing that ever happened in my life. I can't believe this is happening to me. You know, I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to have to be, living off of, public assistance the rest of my life. Like my life
Mhm.
is just over."
Mhm.
Right? If your friend told you that, what would you tell your friend?
I mean, first I'm gonna listen to
Mhm.
all of the pity
Let them
party.
have it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm gonna let you go through the
Yeah,
motions,
let them have
because
it
that's how you feel,
'cause they're
and
sad. Mhm.
yeah, so I'm gonna always, listen to you. But I think that at the end of the day, I'm always gonna pick you back up as well. Like I'm gonna make sure that you understand that that's not the end of the world. That was just that job. That that means you outgrew that job. So that means that it's time to look for something that where you can grow into something else, and now you can go ahead and continue to get those promotions to where that you are now being able to, like you said, afford that house. What did you need to do to get to that house? So now let's figure out different ways that you can do that. You don't have to live on public assistance.
Mhm.
You don't
Right,
have
you would tell
to.
them that. You would encourage them,
Yeah,
right?
you don't have to do that. you
Perfect, but
know
okay, my point is this though, you tell your friend that, right?
hmm
So why wouldn't you tell yourself that
Hmm.
if you're going through the same thing?
Hmm. That's most important. You got to tell yourself that for
Right.
sure.
So that is how you practice self-compassion.
Hmm.
The same thing that you would tell your friend or a child or the child version of yourself, tell it to yourself.
Hmm.
Like some of us have this idea that we don't deserve as much as the next person. You know what I mean? Like if it's
Hmm.
over for us, it's just over. Like we have like this fixed mindset. It's very much a fixed mindset that some people have, right? Where it's like
That's
they
all I'm
bel
gonna
they
get.
right, like they believe in love and happiness
Hmm.
and financial success, for others, but they don't believe that for themselves.
Which is kind of like strange in a sense, because it's like,
It's not healthy.
why not you want those same things for you? Why not you want to be? And that's not saying that you can't still be supportive for your friend or your family member. It's just make sure you're supportive for yourself as well. That's like, that saying, I don't know the exact way how it goes, but it's something to the effect of like, making sure that yourself is okay before, pouring into others. So that applies to that as well. Make sure that you are okay and make sure that you are doing everything that you need to do for yourself before you're actually saying, okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna just push that off on my friend and make sure my friend has that happy life and has that successful
Right.
marriage and has that successful job
And that's
and
beautiful. That's nice.
that's
That's
nice.
nice of you. But
Yes,
what
but
about
what about
you?
you? Yes. Yes,
Mhm.
we are just as important as our friends are in our lives, as our family members are in our lives, as our partners are in our lives. Everyone is just as important as we are. So we have to make sure we taking care of ourselves as well. Going
And
back to
people
what I
people will
said.
see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
people will
going
see
back to
that
what
you're
I
taking
said,
care of
just
yourself.
just give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Like that is really true. Like no one in the world is perfect.
Back to like where it all started, when talk about self-love,
Mhm.
when we discuss how self-love is the key, we're not saying be selfish. We're
Mhm.
not saying only care about yourself. What we're saying is that if you love yourself, you'll be better equipped to love others,
Yes.
right? If you have a full
Yes.
cup, you'll be better able to pour into others. But that starts with self-compassion, forgiving yourself, patting yourself on the back, celebrating
Mhm.
your wins for yourself,
Mhm.
or if you lose, saying, "It's gonna be okay. I got this."
Still pat yourself on the back because guess what? You tried.
Yes,
You tried.
yes.
So
You should
even
be
though it
your
didn't
own
succeed,
cheerleader.
yeah, even though it was not successful, then in the day, pat yourself on the back because you still took out that time to still try. You still went out for that job. You still competed in whatever it was, even though you weren't first place.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it's it's all bad. It's all downhill. No, still
Mhm,
still celebrate you.
mhm. Sometimes when we begin to heal ourselves, we look back on all the things we've been through and we get angry or resentful
Hmm.
for the things that we endured or the things that we allowed to happen,
Why do
right?
you think that is?
I think it's because the healed you is looking back at the unhealed you. Maybe there's a part of you saying, it shouldn't have been this way. You should have known better. Or asking yourself, why didn't you leave? Why'd you
Hmm.
stay so long? Why'd you allow this to happen over and over again? Right? But those kind of thoughts, all it does is add to your suffering. Right? A better way to manage that will be embracing what I call radical acceptance.
Hmm.
Right? The concept of radical acceptance is accepting that life is not fair, but it doesn't mean life is not good either. Right? The
Yes.
concept that life is still worth living, even though there are painful and unfair events in it,
Come on.
right? So when you embrace that, you stop telling yourself, why did I do this? You stop thinking about it shouldn't be this way. It's like, yeah, I'm able to look back at it, reflect, like you were saying earlier, Coach Dad.
Hmm.
I'm able to reflect on the situation, look at all the events that led up to whatever happening, and I can look at that with a different lens and say, okay, what could I learn from this situation? What
Yes.
could I take from this so that in the future, when I get my new job, my new spouse, my new house, whatever the case, I can make better decisions, right? That's coming out of the self-pity
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
moving forward into self-improvement. That's another way how you can practice forgiving, radical acceptance.
Boom.
Well, I sound like
So
you like that concept.
I mean, that was the easiest way to really put it. Like, I mean,
Mhm,
honestly, because if you really sit back and think about it, like you said, I think that sometimes we get to the point to where we're healed and we've gone through the motions, and now we sit back and like we're reflecting over what happened. Like everything that happened. How did it transpire? So now we're looking at that, and we're like you said, we're making ourselves upset, but not really understanding that life isn't fair. You
it's
know,
not, and you can't change the past, you
you
can't go
can't change
back.
that. So at the end of the day, all you can do is accept it, learn from it, and
Mhm,
move on.
mhm, mhm,
Like that's really all we can do. We can
mhm,
once we learn from it, now we can put it into practice and showing how we can show up differently, how we
mhm,
can do things differently, how things
mhm.
can be just more easier for us because now we've been through that process of how something didn't work already. So now what are we going to do to change that?
Mhm. That's being solution oriented versus woe was me, right? Woe was me is, I mean, I get it. We need to like allow ourselves to grieve and be
Mhm.
sad.
Mhm.
But after you finish crying, it's like, now what you gonna do? Now what you gonna do? Today is a new day. How are we gonna deal with this day?
Mhm.
Yesterday is past, it's gone. But we
There's
still
nothing we
got
can do.
today. We got today, we got tomorrow. And
But at the end of the day has to end, like Glorilla said.
thank you. Mhm.
So at the end of the day, it's gonna end. You can't do nothing about nothing that happened yesterday. You can't do nothing about what was happening 3 hours ago. We can't do nothing about that. All we can do is say, hey, that happened, but the day is gonna end. Tomorrow, there's a brighter day. And how are we gonna start tomorrow off better?
Right. How can I take what I learned from yesterday and apply that to today?
Yes. Yes. And once you're able to apply your past history and traumas and things of sort to your present and future, better you. You'll show up
Yeah.
for you better. You'll show up for your family better. You'll show up for your friends better. You'll show up for your job better, your partner better,
Yeah.
because now you're taking the time out to focus on you and what's been bothering you, what's been hurting you. Forgiveness is key.
Or anything else you
Uh,
want to add to the subject?
no, I mean forgiveness is key. That's
For-
my
uh,
that's my final word. Forgiveness is key. Forgive you,
forgiveness.
forgive others.
Hmm. Amen. Love it. Well, thank you guys. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye you guys.
Bye.